children's welfare. Today is also National Child Day, and the theme is Children Should Be Seen and Heard. And this aligns with the vision for sharing our cultures, that the voices, cultures, histories, experiences of all children should be seen, heard, and valued. Thank you all for being with us today on this special National Child Day. I want to thank Pauline Villome, as she introduced herself. She's a hardworking Sharing Our Cultures Vice President for the Avalon region. We also have a Vice President for the Labrador. And our board of directors and community members couldn't be here with us today because we were limiting the space in here and we wanted you to have the opportunity to be with us. So we want to thank them, and we want to thank our guitarist, Kamadi Joel James Ojiambo. Thank you. He's known to many as JJ, and he was, he was born in Kenya to parents who played the piano and guitar and sang at home and at church. And music is one of his favorite pastimes. Now, since 1999, Sharing Our Cultures has engaged school children and youth from around the world who we honor on our wall as cultural ambassadors, sharing our cultures through time. Those are the names of the school youth who participated each year, and it doesn't include the students who actually attended the events with their teachers over the past 20 years. I'll say probably approximately maybe 18,000, and we didn't have enough walls to have all of their names. But we want to thank their teachers for participating over the years, and we want to thank Margarita Palmela Nunes. She is the, she's waving back there. She is working as, in her work placement with us here as part of a YWCA program for young women who face challenges to employment. So we're really pleased to have her. And I'm glad she still has her eyes after typing out, because all the previous ones, before they went digital, were all on paper copies. And she had to type each one. So thank you, Margarita, just so that we can have them represented here on our wall. So we really appreciate that. The history of Sharing Our Cultures is filled with many people without whom we won't be here today. But I do want to thank God for the health, strength, and of course, energy. Young people have a lot of that, and it's been exhilarating. I thank my husband, John, who has been with me from the beginning, and his hard work made it possible for me to volunteer so many hours of my time. I want to also today remember and thank our 3 children, David, Deborah, and Annette, for being understanding for the many times when I couldn't spend time with them because I had meetings or I was facilitating workshops with students or had to stay up late writing proposals. And I thank them very much. I wouldn't have been able to do what I accomplished without their unwavering support. And speaking of proposals, I received a lot of help writing my first proposal from Harold Hiscock, who was a program officer for Canadian Heritage in 1998, and 99 as well. He believed in my vision to help newcomer students overcome challenges they faced in school, such as unwanted isolation, being in class all day and not being able to understand what the teachers or other students were saying, and others experienced racially motivated bullying, which is when bullies took advantage of newcomers who couldn't speak English or were too afraid to report to the teacher. And following my study of the psychosocial needs of new immigrant and refugee school children in the province, I brought the study participants and local students together to find ways they could help newcomer students integrate into their school. And following the workshop, I met regularly with the students who had decided on a drama production to highlight the challenges that newcomers face and solutions to those challenges. We held a performance at the LSPU Hall on March 21, 2001, which is the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. And here's what one student wrote. I actually have the original, so when we were moving to this space, we went through a lot of things to figure what we'll have. So this is what he wrote, and I'm going to read it for you. It says, first of all, I'd like to thank Mrs. Lloydetta Quaicoe for a remarkable job she has done in helping all the group in thinking of ideas, bringing them down to earth, and encouraging all of us to do something like we've done on the March 21st performance. From my point of view, I always love when young people have a point of view. You never know what they're going to say. The performance was a real success. All the activities were moving and I'm sure that if you put a racist-minded person in that hall on March 21st, I'm sure he or she would change due to the great organization that was present. I saw myself in all those stories that were told, and I think it is enormously realistic. Now I'm going to try, I'm going to have a water, sorry. Sorry about that. I think it's emotion as well as being nervous. But he says, I saw myself in all those stories that were told, and I think it was enormously realistic. I myself didn't expect that much emotion. I think that it was a great experience and wish we could do it more often. And so we did. So year after year, we met with the students. And I realized when we were actually rehearsing for the play, I told them we'll meet every other week. And I'll have a call, Miss, can we meet next week? So we were meeting every week. And then it was, Miss, can we meet this day? Or Miss, we didn't have school today, can we meet? So I realized that we were meeting 2 or 3 times a week as well. And I said, well, after we did the performance, I thought, well, if they really want to meet, maybe we should have something regular. So I put together a program where they can meet on a weekly basis in several of the schools here in St. John's. And then they had an opportunity, like 4 times of the year, we collaborated with Memorial University, and we ran skills development workshop. So they had a workshop at the beginning for brainstorming, and then they had another workshop whilst they prepared their displays, and then they had a final workshop where they kind of rehearsed what they would say and how they would present their cultures when we meet in a public forum. Now, the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, through the Office of Displays, when we go around afterwards, and I really want to thank them for that, because without that, we would not have been able to share this program for students throughout the province. Also, I want to thank both the English and French school districts, school principals, staff, and teachers around the province for allowing us to be in the school, and for our coordinators to work with them work with the students there as well. The Newfoundland Labrador Teachers Association continues to support our organization through promotional materials and the passports. So every visiting student that visits the event has a small passport. It's just made with folded paper, but it's printed so they can record information when they go from one booth display to the other, and then they take it back to school for discussions in class. The Department of Education also provides financial assistance for cultural context publications. This is a collection of stories, poems, and drawings by grade 6 students, for grade 6 students, and we distribute them to all grade 6 students in the province. This is intentional because it's designed for each grade 6 student to be able to take that cultural context copy home and have conversations around cultural diversity in our province. In 2010, the rooms opened its doors for us to host our annual event. Thanks to Anne, and we thank she could be with us today, for being here and offering us a boardroom with a spectacular view of the Narrows for us to film sharing our cultures with individuals from around the world who have come to call this place home. Of course, a television show would not have been a reality without the encouragement and perseverance of Linda Lamb, station manager at Rogers TV, and help with the television producer Jan Warren is also here. So the theme for our event this year was sharing our contributions to Canada. And students had researched members of their communities who were making significant contributions to the province. And those contributors are featured in our Conversation Lifestyle television show on Rogers TV and on our Shine Our Cultures YouTube channel. Now, CBC NL has been a co-sponsor of Shine Our Cultures for many years. And they have always promoted our events, our public events and programs, and we're so pleased to have Caroline Stokes here now to join us here today. And it's a demonstration of the relationships that we've had over the years. And I've often said to many people that sharing our cultures would not be what it is without all the people. Like we didn't have enough time for me to list everyone that has helped. But as I look back over the years, I think of many lives that we have touched. Last year, one of the students, she participated in the earlier years, and she's moved away now, she's in Ontario, but she came back to visit her parents. And she said she wanted to see me, so I said, okay. And she said, I'm so glad that Sharing Our Cultures is happening. She said, because it saved my life. And I thought, oh, how did that happen? And she explained that when she arrived from St. John's, she didn't know anyone, and she didn't speak English. She was very lonely, and she missed her extended family, friends, and familiar places. She said that she hated school, and she said, I hated my life. And one day the guidance counselor said, why don't you go to the Sharing Our Cultures program? I guess as a last resort. And so she did. And she said, and I quote her, it saved my life. There she met others who were facing similar challenges or spoke her language. And most times I'll see the students come in one at a time. You know, they're not sure what the Sharing Our Cultures program is about. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, I see them arm in arm with somebody else, either bringing a new person to it or coming in a group with the other students who are in the program. At this point of our journey, we hope now we have this space that newcomer youth will feel a sense of place and belonging here at the Sharing Our Cultures Learning and Resource Center. We have kept the place very safe. As you can see, if they're working in that room, we can see them here. It's an open concept. And we want them to know that they have a place. Some students, at the end of Friday, they go home, and they really do not have anyone in the community to connect with till the next Monday when they're back in school. So we're hoping it will fill that gap. This year, when instructions were suspended, many students were home, or some of our participants, and some of them were concerned because their parents were essential workers, and they were afraid of catching the virus, and they couldn't do a lot of their schoolwork. And so we've thought of an opportunity that this space could provide for young people to come. We can match them with volunteers. I've been talking to the Retired Teachers Association or substitute teachers who would like to help them so that they can catch up on the work that they miss, because there's a lot of potential, and when you see what some of them have written about their aspirations, it really touches your heart to want to make learning and school a place where they can learn and reach their full potential. We know that we've been at the rooms for our annual event, and over the years, it has saddened me that we couldn't accommodate all the teachers and students who want to come on those 2 days. We do bring in 800 students in total, but there are many more students and teachers that we turn down. I know that when things are safe, we'll still go back to the rooms, but this space will open up opportunities. So if teachers are doing a unit on China, for example, they can bring the students already a cohort, they can bring them into this space, and we can provide information. It's also going to be available for our local community if they want to learn about the diverse cultures. This space will be an opportunity for them as well. So we really want to thank you all for being here with us and for the opportunity and for the support of the federal government, the provincial government, and all of your in-kind contributions that has made this possible. We truly, truly value. And so if the children were going to be here today, those students, they will tell you what I'm telling you. So I'm speaking on their behalf. Thank you.
This is pretty cool. There's a certain formality that must accompany an event like this to show respect and appreciation from the community at large. But there's always been a very informal and very friendly relationship between Sharing Our Cultures and those who want to promote the sharing of cultures, the sharing of space with amongst all of us. We're here today to cut the ribbon to pay tribute to a new home for those who want to call Newfoundland and Labrador a new home, but also for those who want to understand better the cultures and the sentiments and the incredible value that those who want to call Newfoundland and Labrador home, what they bring to us. And those that already are new to our province, new as permanent residents or new as Canadian citizens, how important it is to ensure that they continue to be made welcome, to appreciated and respected for what everyone does for each and every one of us. So Dr. Quaicoe, let me say I'm here simply on behalf of a larger body, the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, and the 518,000 souls, to say thank you to Sharing Our Cultures, to the work that you do, to open up a new home for those who want to call this place home and who already call this place home, to make sure that it is a welcoming home. This is an ideal spot. You're right next to the seat of energy and youth and vibrancy of our province, Memorial University of Newfoundland. You're on bus routes, you're connected to schools in this new location. very, very well placed. But what is even better placed is the work that you do, and all of your executive and members of the board. This is really, really important. And Minister Davis mentioned something just a few minutes ago. We've had a little bit of momentum with the work that we've been doing, but I also want to say that Minister Osborne, you've got two champions here in your local area, and that's Minister Osborne and Minister Davis, and a lot of others. But in particular, I can say that Minister Davis and Minister Osborne have been incredible champions in supporting the work that you do, and others who are supporting your work as well. But one of the greatest supporters that I know is Premier Dr. Andrew Furey. He's really, really put into firm light and color just the importance of how we embrace new cultures, new permanent residents, new people who want to call Newfoundland and Labrador home. This is what Dr. Furey has mandated to me in my mandate letter with incredible energy, much more than before. Minister Davis mentioned that I had been the Minister of Immigration before. This is kind of deja vu all over again, Yogi. As the principal drafter of our Way Forward on Immigration, back at that point in time, we did good work. We're about to do even better work. And it's built on a platform of success, not just by government, not principally by government, by people who have been at this effort for many, many years. And that's what sharing our cultures is really all about. And so I want to say a special thank you. I also want now to move to a little more informal setting. I understand Dr. John has received an award recently. I think that's worth highlighting. You know, just a few days ago, we announced a special immigration pathway into Newfoundland and Labrador, a new pathway for permanent residency that harnesses the incredible value and power of Memorial University of Newfoundland and the skills, intellect, and ambition that it attracts. We announced a new skills pathway, a new pathway for entry that really relies on the fact that Newfoundland and Labrador has an incredible university. It's world-renowned. We've built up the university and created core competencies, core strengths in ocean sciences, in engineering, in data technology, digital technologies, amongst many, many other fields. But we have core competencies in healthcare and health professions. We have many core competencies, but it's world-renowned, and we've built up the university, we've attracted the best talent from around the world, but we noticed there was a gap. There was a barrier to say, well, we've gone this far, we've got over 2,500 brilliant minds from around the world that make Newfoundland and Labrador through Memorial University of Newfoundland their home. They've decided they want to come here. How can we allow them an easier on-ramp to stay here permanently? And so that's why the Premier and I, accompanied by my colleagues, we announced the Priority Skills pathway, Priority Skills Newfoundland and Labrador. And it's to encourage those who gain a master's degree, a PhD, other highly involved technical skills to make Newfoundland and Labrador their permanent home. And one of the pieces that evolved over the last several days was the success story, the continuing success story of Verifin. Verifin is a company, it's an organization, it's an effort that is powered in large measure by new Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Incredible talent from home has been brought into Verifin. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians trained, educated, and working at home in Verifin. But the critical mass of Verifin could never have been achieved if it were not for the additional inputs of new Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. And Verifin would be the first to identify with that. So there is proof positive that the sum The whole, the whole is greater than the simple sum of the parts. And that's what happens when we welcome new Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, new Canadians to us and with us and amongst us. The whole is greater than the simple sum of the parts. It creates more jobs. It creates more economic opportunity. It certainly does not distract or detract. It creates more. So when we invest in small measure to sharing our cultures, what we're really investing is making sure that people who choose to stay, want to stay, and fight to stay, they feel welcomed in their staying. Sharing our cultures is about youth. And it's really, that's where our first and principal efforts always must occur whenever we try to combat the instances and occasions of racism. So with that said, I want to say a special thank you to all here. I want to say a special thank you to Anne as well from the rooms. Dr. Quaicoe, you've had partners here for a long time. I'm a temporary occupant of my chair, and I recognize, as we all as ministers are. But you've had people who have stood with you and beside you for a very, very long time. And I think really today, that's part of the celebration as well. That's a big part of the celebration as well. So today, what we're here to do is something very simple, but something very appropriate. Create a new home for those who want to make Newfoundland and Labrador home, for those who want to better understand those who want to make Newfoundland and Labrador their home. And that's why we're all here being a part of the celebration that you have created. Thank you all very, very much.
Well, thank you, Doctor. I appreciate the opportunity. I grew up in a family where my father was a citizenship judge, but often in our home we had people of other cultures, other backgrounds from different countries. We grew up not seeing difference, but seeing enrichment. And that's what this organization brings to the city. And you're right, when students go to school, sometimes the fact that they can't speak the same language with other students, they miss that. Or they can't share some of the same cultures, which is what makes your organization so valuable. And we are so lucky in our city to have this organization. So I want to thank you for the work that you're doing.
Well, I think, Dr. Quaicoe, we can officially declare that the new home for sharing our cultures officially opened.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hey everyone, it is Jason Piercy, host of Out of the Fog on Tuesday nights at 7:30. You're definitely going to want to watch because you never know what I'm going to get into. It's all about community. It's all about you. So watch Tuesday, 7:30.
There are soldiers in my family. I first joined the Legion to honor their service. Now I volunteer there to be of service myself. I know my membership helps Canadian veterans get the support they need. I've personally seen it help veterans get through some pretty dark times. Many have come out stronger than ever. For a lot of them, the Legion feels like home, It's nice to be part of that.
If you want convenience, Marie's Mini Mart is here for you. A one-stop shop for a variety of products, home-style breads, sandwiches, plus check out our freshly baked artisan breads and single-serve desserts exclusively at our